Tanya Roberts has in fact been pronounced dead after a premature announcement of her death by her publicist when it was not true. My colleague Daytona Everett spoke with the founder of TMZ, Harvey Levin, about this story and all of its twists and turns.
Watching News Now from Fox, I'm Daytona Everett. I'm joined now by the Harvey Levin of TMZ. Harvey, thank you for joining us.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
So I want to read off this headline today. Tanya Roberts dead at 65 after bizarre premature death announcement. You guys have been following this story every single step of the way, and bizarre is the perfect word to describe it. Can you explain what the latest is that you found out today?
Yeah, we've done this for 15 years. This is really one of the most bizarre stories we've ever done. On Sunday, we started getting calls that Tanya's longtime domestic partner had contacted them to say she died. So then we talked to Tanya's rep, and the rep confirmed it and said, yes, she died, and even gave us a quote from Lance O'Brien, who is the longtime companion. We broke the story on the website. Shortly after we broke it, the publicist then issued a press release. And on Monday, Lance is doing a television show, and they're recording it, and the phone rings from Cedars-Sinai, and they said, well, we saw this story. She's alive. And you see his reaction, and it's like, she's what? So we talked to Lance multiple times since then. So here's the way that it breaks down. That Lance was told he could come to the hospital. This is at Cedars-Sinai, and they are riddled with COVID right now. It's terrible in LA County. And so they said, look, for compassionate reasons, we're going to let you here. You're going to let you go inside, and you can say goodbye to her. He goes over there. He holds her, and she opens her eyes, he says. And then her eyes close before they kind of roll back in her head. And he said he thought she was dead. He walks out of the room, and there are obviously nurses and doctors all over the place, but he doesn't talk to any of them. He leaves, and he's very upset. He's distraught. Right. And he goes down to the publicist who was waiting for him, Tanya's publicist, to drive him home, and he tells the publicist Tanya's dead. And so he thought she was dead, but he didn't talk to the doctors, and he was simply wrong. She died last night, but this was really, as you said, bizarre.
Obviously, for the partner, this is emotional distress that's going on right now. Sometimes it's difficult to digest what's going on during a situation like that. How big of a mess up is this for the publicist?
I don't think it's a mess up for the publicist at all. No. And I even talked to him yesterday, and he was very upset. And I said, this is not on you. I mean, you know, it's not my job to be a counselor, but I felt bad for the guy because he was really doing a lot of hand-wringing. And, you know, to me, it's sort of like if the husband or domestic partner is in a hospital room, comes downstairs and says to you, she died. Why would you disbelieve that?
Right.
I mean, would you say, I want a second source to the domestic partner?
Yeah.
Never. You would never say that. You would accept it if he was taken there knowing that she was dying. He's in the room. He comes downstairs, tells the publicist, and he does what his job is. But I don't think he did anything wrong.
Yeah, I mean, have you seen anything like this before? I mean, you've been covering, obviously, these stories for several years, like you said in the beginning. Have you heard of any type of story like this?
Well, no. And as a matter of fact, we were doing TMZ Live on Monday morning, and I got a text. And I looked at this text, and it said, she's alive. And I stopped doing TMZ Live, and it's, what? I mean, it just
breaking news.
it just seems so crazy. And again, the baseline here is this is really a tragic story. She was really great. Yeah. You know, she was a very successful model. She was a movie star. I mean, she was a Bond girl. She was a huge TV star with That 70s Show and Charlie's Angels. She had a really great career and was really liked by a lot of people. And this is a very sad story. I mean, she was walking her dog. She came home and collapsed on the porch. and they rushed her to the hospital and put her on a ventilator. So it's a very tragic story with this bizarre twist.
Yeah. What was your biggest takeaway from covering this?
I haven't been able to process what I've learned from it yet. You know, it's like if a husband or wife tells you that my spouse died, do you believe it? And I think the answer is still yes. I mean, this was just a bizarre situation. And he didn't have bad intentions when he did this. He just, was distraught and jumped to a conclusion.
Yeah, but it's official today, right?
It is official today. Yes, it is official today.
Okay. My last question for you, Harvey. I know you're a busy guy. What does this have to say about reporting deaths in the media? We've seen a lot this past year, and it's tough. You obviously want to get it out there as soon as possible because it comes out regardless on Twitter or whatever. As a news outlet, what do you think about that?
I would do it again.
Yeah.
I would do the same thing again. I mean, if we get a call from if we talk to a publicist who says she's dead, we get calls from people who are her friends saying that she's dead, and we talk to her domestic partner who said, I was in the hospital, she died, and we get a statement from him, what would you do more? Mm-hmm.
You're going to go forward with the story.
I mean, the publicist said yes, the friend said yes, the domestic partner said yes. I'd do it again.
All right. Any last thoughts?
And look, in 15 years, I haven't seen anything like that. But when you have multiple people telling you the same thing, including the guy that's in the hospital room when he says, I watched her die, she died in my arms, there you go.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough situation to say, well, yeah, do you have a second source?
I mean, and as a matter of fact, we did. The problem is the sources emanated from him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. Well, any last thoughts on this or any other big headline stories that you guys are following for this?
We have another story, but I can't talk about it right now.
All right. We'll talk soon then.
Okay. Good talking to you.
Thank you so much. Harvey Levin here on News Now from Fox.
My pleasure.
All right. And literally within hours